Here we are, first video, man. I'm excited to bring y'all along my journey. For those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Markel Newsom, and today we'll be doing a Q&A video. I posted on my Instagram, had y'all send me some questions that y'all wanted me to answer about my journey, about my life, general questions, stuff like that, just to get to know me. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first question we got is, what inspired you to start playing basketball? What inspired me to start playing basketball really comes from my older brother. For those of you that don't know, I have 4 brothers. 2 of them are older than me, and the oldest one, I feel like he's the one that really introduced me to the game, and that's what inspired me going to all his games and some of his AAU practices, and just watching and seeing, because he's 10 years older than me, for those of you that don't know. So just seeing all that, seeing his whole process, and those Friday night games, it used to be so electric at Normal Community. I used to just be like, man, I want to play for this school one day, even though that didn't transpire, but I still got that same feeling and that same energy at Richwoods. So that's who inspired me, my older brother. Shout out to you, Quet. Our second question, how do I stay motivated? For me personally, what motivates me is my family. I know that's a generic answer, but that's the truth. Like, they motivate me a lot more than they may know. Everything that I want to accomplish and that I want to obtain and work towards is for them, for their benefit, so that they can experience those things, like traveling or buying nice cars or living in a big house. I want those things for me, of course, but I want them more for them to experience those things and inspire like my younger cousins or younger siblings to want that for themselves and their family. So I would say my family is 1. 2, proving everybody that doubted me when I was younger wrong. That's what motivates me. And that feeling you get when somebody says you couldn't do something and you end up doing it, that feeling that you get, like, that's what keeps me going. When I do get down or do become unmotivated, I just look at pictures or think back on, how far God brought me. He's brought me a long way. For those of you that don't know, I did not make the 6th grade basketball team when I was living in Bloomington at the time. When times get tough, even now or back then, I just think about how far God brought me and, think about how I went from that to where I am now. Even if he don't bless me no more, he's blessed me enough, and I couldn't be more grateful or more blessed. Next question, they said, what would you tell your younger self now? So if I was sitting here right now, and let's say that 6th grade me that just didn't make the team and was bawling his eyes out, cried himself a migraine, if he was sitting right here or across the table, I would say to him, I know it sucked. I know it seemed like everything is against you right now. Like, why me? But trust me, bro, like, it's just going to add that much fuel to your fire. And that mentality that you got right now where you thinking, like, I'm finna use this and go even harder, use it, do it. I'm telling you, because it's going to turn you into a monster. That's what I would tell them. Next question, what drills or workouts helped you the most in your development? For me personally, the drills and workouts that helped me, I would say definitely getting a right hand and left hand floater down pat. Like, being able to finish a floater with my right hand just as well as I do with my left hand, or vice versa, because for those of you that don't know, that's why we doing this Q&A, so y'all get to know me. I am ambidextrous. I am both-handed. But when I was doing my floaters, like, I would make it more consistently with my right hand sometimes than I did my left. Even though it didn't really feel any different, I needed to get my left hand floater more consistent, especially being an undersized guard. I would say definitely get a floater in your bag. And also a mid-range game, a consistent mid-range, consistent one dribble pull-up. For me, my personal favorite, a hezzy pull going both ways. That's how I get my shot off a lot. With people knowing that I'm so quick and got a quick first step, they tend to play back. So with them preparing to, try to beat me to the spot, they try to guess it. I just read them. If I see they take that step back, hezzy pull, cash, and it give me that little gap, little separation to get my shot off. And just being in the gym, working on that consistently, going both ways. Um, Definitely things I would say to work on if you are an undersized guard, or even if you're not, just something to add to your bag. Oh, another thing, being in shape. I cannot stress this enough. Like, being in shape, bro, it plays such a big role in basketball. And I'm talking like tip top shape. You could play the whole game at a high level, high intensity, and not get tired, especially if you are shifty or are a shifty player that likes to, I ain't gonna say dribble a lot, but you got counters to you. Trust me, get in shape, y'all. Who's a player that you like to mimic? A player that I like to mimic, it's a couple. For me personally, the ones that's in the NBA right now, Jalen Brunson, Trae Young, Chris Paul when he was younger, even Chris Paul now. Don't get me wrong, Chris Paul, he still be getting to it. A little bit of SGA, I like the little shoulder bump that he be doing, shoulder bump mid-range. Some college guards, college point guards that I like to watch. Mark Sears, Zakai Ziegler, Jalen Lowe from Pittsburgh. He'll be at Kentucky next year. Simon Wheeler, another small guard I like to watch. Guards that take care of the ball, can shoot, can pass, dribble, and run the team, and also play defense. Definitely, those are my favorite type of guards for sure. And that leads me into my next question. Who is my favorite basketball player? My personal favorite basketball player of all time. And I know y'all gonna be like, who? Sharife Cooper. I'm telling you, that is my favorite basketball player. That's been my favorite player since 6th grade when I first found out about him. Been my favorite player ever since. Still my favorite player to this day. And that's also another player that I, mimic my game after. After watching him for so long and studying literally all his moves, freshman year, sophomore year, them ball his life clips and stuff like that. Definitely Sharife Cooper, for sure. Someone said, why is the Juco route a good option for athletes? The Juco route is a good option for athletes now, especially because as of right now today, while I'm recording this, if you do go the Juco route, instead of having originally 2 years after, say you do 2 years at Juco and transfer to a 4-year, instead of only having 2 years left of eligibility, now you can have 3. And we don't know what else they got down the line, if they're going to bump it to 4 or keep it at 3 or get rid of it. But as of right now, if you go to Juco route and you're there for 2 years, you will have 3 years of eligibility. But it's a good option because it teaches you a lot about yourself. At least for me, my experience, what you put in at a Juco is what you're going to get out. And I can't be any more realer than that. So if you're not going your hardest day in and day out, of course you're going to have rest days. You're going to have days you don't feel like doing nothing, or, your body hurt. Sometimes you got to listen to your body, but sometimes you got to just push through that, still get in the gym, even if it's for 30, 45 minutes, still push through, bro. Trust me, it's going to pay off. It might not seem like it's paying off, but it's going to pay off. And I had to tell myself that a couple times, and it did. It also, like I said, it taught me some things, taught me a lot about myself, and shaped me into who I am now. Me growing up, I always kind of been mature and responsible, but if you're not, Juco is definitely going to make you become mature and responsible. Now, it's not like how a whole bunch of people was making it seem like it was back in the day, where it's like, Juco, it's some dogs at Juco, you got to be this, that, you got to be up 5 a.m. No, it's not. It's not that intense, but it's definitely not sweet, though, for sure. It's not sweet at all. It's still a grind. You still got to put the work in. My whole freshman year, I was rebounding for myself, literally. Shooting, make or miss, chasing the ball, and going back to the spot. So you definitely got to be disciplined. And it's hard to get up and do that every day on top of practice and on top of games. Someone said, being a small guard, what did you have to be efficient at? Being a small guard, I had to be efficient at being able to hit, catch and shoot threes, spot up threes. Had to be efficient at decision making, not turning the ball over, having a good assist to turnover ratio. Get a floater down pack, being able to finish with both hands, and knocking down free throws. If you can do those and being vocal and being a leader, you'll be good, bro. Trust me. It's not gonna all come overnight. It didn't for me. I had my biggest thing that I had to work on was being vocal. If I didn't know you, I wouldn't go out my way to try to talk to you, or when I did talk, it wouldn't be as projected as it is now. So it'll be kind of quiet. So I had to learn to, especially on the court when the crowd is going crazy or everybody's yelling and stuff like that, you definitely have to be loud so that your team can hear you. And you got to be a coach on the floor. That's the biggest thing, being a coach on the floor. So coach tell you what play to run, you got to make sure everybody hears it. Someone said, what is it that you feel or think that's telling you to go harder every day? Proving people wrong that doubted me, as well as inspiring the younger generation under me. Because, you know, I'm not 6'5". I wasn't a 5-star athlete or highly known. My process was more of a grind than it was for a lot more people. And even with all that grinding and hard work and early mornings, late nights, I still feel like I got a lot left to prove and a higher level to compete at. So I'm working towards that right now currently, but I'm also grateful for where I am right now. And I'm blessed to even, you know, be able to be playing basketball on a full ride scholarship. So, yeah. Someone said, how often do you train for basketball? So for me, I train about 2 or 3 times a day, maybe 5 to 6 days a week, give or take, depending on my schedule. I give myself and my body a day or two, depending on how heavy the workload was that week. Give myself time to recover because, you know, it's always great and good to give your body time to recover so that you can be at your best the following week or the following game or whatnot. So in order to be at your best, you got to let your body recover. But, you know, yeah, I would say 2 to 3 times a day, 5 to 6 days a week. Okay, we got one of my young hoopers in here. He said, advice for first year of high school basketball. My advice for someone that's going into their first year of high school basketball, I would say learn the system that you're in, you know, learn what it takes to get on the court and what your coach wants from you. Because if you're not doing what your coach is asking, then you're not going to see the floor and then you're just going to fall out of love with it. One of the biggest things that I remember from my freshman year that my coach told me, he sat us down under the rim and he huddled us around. He said, I want y'all to look around. We all looked around. He said, the same faces that you see right now, you won't see these same faces your senior year. He said, and if you do, it'll only be like 3 or 4 of y'all out of, at the time it was a roster like 16, 17. And we all looking around like, what? We love basketball. Like, we all gonna be on the team. And sure enough, my senior year, it was only 3 of us. But what I told myself when he said that, I made a promise to myself. I said, even if it is 3 of us or just 1 of us, I was like, I'm gonna be one of those 3 that's still playing and still on the team and still producing our senior year of varsity. And that's exactly what I did. I didn't just say it and not put in any work, because faith without works is dead, according to the Bible. You got to put the work in. And just because you manifest something or say you're going to do something doesn't mean it's just going to happen. You still got to grind, still have to put the work in that it takes to obtain that. But if you say it, speak it, because the tongue is powerful. You say it and then you put the work in, it's going to happen for sure. Someone said, what basketball player did you look up to growing up? So growing up, like I said, my favorite basketball player from 6th grade all the way until now was Sharif Cooper, and still is Sharif Cooper. But before that, growing up, my older brother, hands down. You know, he was really the only hooper I knew, him and his teammates. Shout out Anthony Bean. He was another exciting player that I liked to watch. You know, he was like Bron in high school. But he was only like 6'2", 6'3". But my favorite player was my brother, and I don't think I ever told him this. So, if you're watching this, surprise. But yeah, he inspired me a lot. He worked out with me all the time, got my handles right. He literally set the blueprint out for me for my basketball career, and he told me straight up. He was like, you know, you follow this path and do this, this is going to be your end result. If you take this path, this is going to be your end result. He always made sure that I kept the main thing, and he always was there and still is, even though he doesn't play anymore. He still is there. If I am a little down or in a little slump or just, in my head or, questioning things, whatever the case may be, he's always there to encourage me to this day and, remind me. Like, randomly, he'll send me a picture that me and him took after I didn't make the 6th grade basketball team. I'll probably put it somewhere right here, one of these, because we all were expecting me to make the team. So he drove all the way back home to celebrate with me. And when I didn't make it, it was heartbreaking for all of us. But me and him, we worked even harder. Even though it was tough, going to some of the basketball games, knowing that I should have been on a team, but not making it due to things out of my control, he definitely was always there to encourage me and keep my head up high. And if my head was too high sometimes, he's always there to, humble me, keep me humble, remind me that I'm not there yet. I'm still working and grinding to try to get to where I want to be. It's good to have people like that. He definitely has a nice, even balance, and that's why I respect him so much. And that's why he was one of my favorite players growing up, not only because he worked with me, but because I also seen the work that he put in too. Someone said, what is the reason behind your number? So for those of you that don't know, this past year, I wore number 10 in honor of my homie Kesey, Mike Taylor, who passed away due to gun violence here in the city. Me and him had a good relationship through basketball that, translated to a good relationship off the court as well. To honor him, I wore his number that he wore in high school and in college. I wore 10 for him, and I'll be wearing 10 this upcoming year for him as well. But before that happened, my number was number 2. That's still my number. But the reason for that is, well, it's actually 2 reasons. The first reason why I started wearing it was a reminder. Growing up, people looked at you like you were the second option. And, I used that as motivation. But once I got older, like my senior year, I changed the meaning to second to none. That was the meaning behind 2. Yeah, I want to represent Kesey and, honor his number, but I don't want to overtake 10. So I don't think I would. After this year, I don't have plans on, continuing to wear 10, but that's his number. That's not my number. I just wear it for him. Someone said, what made you fall in love with the game? What made me fall in love with the game personally, just everything that the game of basketball did for me and in my life, the people I met, the relationships I formed, the places I've traveled, the emotions and feelings that it's brought me, all of that, the highs, the lows, everything. I just fell in love with all of that and fell in love with the game of basketball. Basketball just did so much for me, and it's definitely shaped me into the person I am today, on and off the court. It taught me to stay disciplined, taught me how to be a leader, how to be vocal, how to be confident in myself. Basketball has taught me so much. And these last ones, I'm going to do some quick hitters. What was the biggest challenge you faced in Juco? Me personally, at Kaskaskia? What? Man, that conditioning wasn't no joke, bro. We had 3 miles on the track. Like, it was like this trail that we had in the back of the school. Then after we did the 3 miles, 12 sprints racing each other down and back on the field. And it wasn't like you could just jog it out, because mind you, this before we like played in any jamborees or did any open gyms. So this like where you trying to like make your mark and, catch the coach's attention. So everybody going hard. We racing against each other. Had us in 3 groups. Had the guards, the wings / forwards, and then the bigs. So now that make you want to go even harder because you want to catch his attention or his eyes so you can get playing time. So that was definitely one of the biggest challenges that I had to face last year. That conditioning wasn't no joke. I tell you, crazy. Dream school to play for. My dream school that I would love to play for is the University of Houston or the University of Alabama. What is your favorite basketball shoe to play in? Favorite basketball shoe to play in? Easy. Kobe 8s. Easy. I love those. What do you want to do after your basketball career is all said and done? My basketball career is all said and done. I plan on going into real estate, buying and flipping houses, renting them out, renovating them, stuff like that. Thank you guys for tuning in to my first video. I truly appreciate it. Can't wait to see what this journey has in store for us. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe and share. Down below are my socials. You can follow me on Instagram for more content or more posts. And yeah, I appreciate you guys.